Hello everyone, welcome. If you're new to this channel, my name is Akila, and today I'm going to be taking you through a vinyasa flow. It's going to be helping you with your hip mobility, so not only getting really flexible in the hips, but also getting really strong in the depth of your flexibility. So for today's practice, you may need blocks, you also may not, but feel free to have them handy. And if you don't have blocks handy for you, you can always use a book of a similar size and shape, or anything that you can find around your house that is going to be a good replacement for a block. It's really just to kind of help bring the floor a little closer, or help push into the floor if you need an extra bit of help. So we'll get started today in a child's pose. Knees are just going to come to the edges of the mat, and the heels are going to meet the hips. Forehead comes to the mat. Head rests down heavy. Taking really long inhales through the nose here. And maybe there's a moment at the top of the breath where you feel a little buoyancy before the exhale falls out of the mouth. And we'll take a few long intentional breaths here. If you normally practice using Ujjayi breath, you can start to tap into that now. If you don't know what Ujjayi breath is, it is an inhale and exhale through the nose, so keeping the lips sealed the whole time. And the exhale sounds a bit like an ocean wave. So there's a slight constriction of the throat as you exhale. So if you can hear my breathing on the microphone, it sounds something like that. And then the next time that you take a breath in, you're going to press into the palms and gently pull yourself forward through a tabletop position. We're going to tuck the toes and come straight into our first down dog of practice today. Maybe taking a little pedal through the feet, bending into one knee and then the other. Just finding this little bounce side to side, opening up into the backs of the legs. Then your next inhale is going to take your right leg up and back, three-legged dog, and we're going to bend at the knee. We're going to start to take some circles in the hips, so drawing 3 big circles in one direction with the knee. Just exploring all the crevices of the hip joint here. Taking it nice and slow. Once you've done 3 in the first direction, switch directions. Take it to the other side. And once you've done 3 circles in each direction with the right knee, you're going to pull the right knee into the right shoulder. You're going to plant the foot to the outside of the right hand, dropping the left knee back to the floor, finding this low version of a lizard lunge. On your inhale, you're going to take your right fingertips to your ear, pointing the elbow up towards the ceiling, coming into a twist. And then on your exhale, you're going to thread that right elbow down towards the floor on the inside of the right foot. As far as you can go, maybe it taps the floor, maybe it doesn't quite reach, but either way, aiming as close to the floor as you can get it. Inhales open you up into that twist. Exhale, curl the upper back down, finding the elbow towards the floor. One more time, inhale, peel open, finding a twist in the upper back. And exhale, elbow comes towards the floor, inside of the right foot. We'll take one more twist on the inhale. The exhale, the back toes are gonna tuck. Lift the back knee, and we're gonna transit through a wide-legged forward fold, walking the fingertips down the edge of the mat, towards the back of the mat. And we're gonna come into our low lunge. Plant the hands to step the left foot back, downward facing dog. Again, pedaling just into one foot and then the other. Inviting that opening in the back of the hamstrings. Really lengthening into the back. And then find a more static down dog. Your inhale is going to take your left leg up and back, bend into the knee, and then we'll take those hip circles on the other side. So starting in one direction, taking it at your own pace. So if you're not quite with me, that's okay. You can be faster, you can be slower. Just trying to get into every little crevice of the hip joint here. And once you've finished your circles in both directions, you're going to take the left knee to the left shoulder. Then plant the left foot outside of the left hand for lizard lunge. Back knee drops. Left fingertips come to the ear, and we're going to peel open, finding your twist. On the inhale, exhale, curl the upper back in. Elbow taps towards the floor. Inhale, opening up into your twist. And exhale, upper back curls to tap towards the floor. Inhale one more time, peeling open, finding that twist broad across the collarbones. And exhale, curling the upper back in, maybe the elbow comes towards the floor. One last time, inhaling to that twist. And the exhale, toes tuck and back knee lifts, walking the hands carefully towards the front of the mat, coming through your forward fold. Finding the lunge at the top of your mat, planting the hands to step the foot back, downward facing dog. Deep inhale here, and exhale settles in to find the pose. Next inhale takes the right leg up and back for three-legged dog, bending into the right knee. Taking those hip circles again, 3 in each direction. Maybe the circles are a little bit bigger this time as we start to get a little bit more warmed up. More awake in the body. Making sure you change and find both directions of the hip circles. Really trying to hit the hips from every angle here. And then when you're ready, taking your right knee into your right shoulder, planting the foot outside the right hand, coming into our lizard lunge. This time the back knee stays lifted. Lots of length through the back leg. And again, we're going to find our twist. So fingertips of the right hand come to the right ear. Inhales, twist you open. Exhales, maybe you try and find the floor with the elbow tap. Inhale, twist open. Exhale, elbow comes to the floor to tap. Inhale, twist open. One last time, inhale. Exhale, to tap the elbow. Inhale, peels the shoulder open, elbow points towards the sky. And on the exhale, you're gonna pivot your hips to the front. Stay on this side and bend into the right knee more to try and find a Skandasana. Maybe the hips are much higher here. Maybe your Skandasana is looking a little bit more like this. That's okay. As long as you're getting a stretch into the inner thigh of the left leg, inner thigh of the right leg, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. We'll come through that forward fold, walking the fingertips to the back of the mat for that low lunge. And then we'll step the left foot back, finding your downward facing dog. Next inhale takes the left leg up and back. Three-legged dog bending into the knee. And we're taking those circles again with the knee. Starting in one direction. Just drawing really big circles with the knee here. Taking it in both directions. And once you've taken it in both directions, you'll pull the left knee in towards the left shoulder, planting the left foot outside the left hand for your lizard lunge. Inhale, takes the left fingertips to left ear and twist open. Exhale, strong through the back leg. Maybe you curl the upper back to find the elbow taps at the floor. Inhale, twist open. Exhale, elbow taps. Inhale, twist open. One last time, exhale, elbow taps. Inhale to twist open. And then exhale, we're coming into our Skandasana. So readjusting the hips. So both of your hips are going to be facing the edge of your mat. And maybe you're up high, or maybe you can drop the hips down low. Finding your Skandasana. This might be a good place where you use the blocks to bring the floor closer to you if you're higher up. Just finding what's working best for you here. And then on your next exhale, you're going to walk the fingertips back to the top of the mat, finding your low lunge. We're going to step that right foot back, finding your downward facing dog. Inhaling deeply here. Exhale, we settle the spine into its most lengthened position. Any amount of bend in the knees here that you need to keep the length in the spine. I had a friend once talking to me about yoga, and she was saying that she couldn't get her back straight in down dog. And so I said, just bend your knees. And she goes, oh my God, is that allowed? I said, of course it's allowed. So sometimes we get this idea in our head of what poses are supposed to look like. And we lose sight of the purpose of the pose altogether. So this is your PSA that it's okay to bend your knees in down dog. In fact, I often encourage it. On your next inhale, look forward between the hands, come up onto the balls of the feet and bend into the knees. And just take a few steps to the top of the mat. We're going to meet in a chair pose. So toes come together, knees, heels slightly apart. We're going to bend into the knees, lift the arms up overhead. Inhaling here. And exhale, fold the torso over the legs as you straighten into the legs. And we're going to roll all the way up to stand. Arms reach up overhead. And exhale, hands come down through the heart, down by the sides. Inhale, the arms are going to reach up overhead. Exhale, folding over the legs. Inhale to find a little bit of length in the spine, looking forward. Exhale, you're going to step your left foot to the back of the mat, finding an angle of about 45 degrees with the back foot. bending into the right knee, you're gonna lift the arms up and overhead, finding a warrior one. The aim here is to have both hip bones facing the front of your mat. But that is the aim. If it's not completely squared off to the front, that's okay. We just want to keep the integrity of the front knee over the front toes. On your exhale, hands come to frame the front foot. Right foot steps back to a plank pose. We lower it down to the belly. Inhale, pull through for a baby cobra, chest lift from the floor. Tops of the feet press firmly into the ground. And on the exhale, we let the chest fall towards the floor. Tuck the toes, press it up and back. Downward facing dog. Lengthening out the inhales and exhales here. Keeping the control in the breath even as we start to pick up the pace. Next inhale takes the gaze forward between the hands. Come up onto the toes, bend into the knees. And step your way to the top of the mat. Or if you're feeling ready, you can hop or float. Inhale, finding length in the spine. And exhale, we're going to come into our chair pose. Arms reach up, knees bend, hips sit back. Weight into the heels here. One more breath in. And on the exhale, the torso falls towards the thighs. Forward fold. Inhale, we roll all the way up to stand. Arms reach out and up overhead. And exhale, takes the hands through the heart. Arms down by the sides for Tadasana. Inhale, arms reach out and up overhead. Exhale to fold over the legs. Inhale, finds a little bit of a length in the spine. And exhale, plants the fingertips so the right foot can step on that 45-degree angle to the back of the mat. Front knee is bent as we lift the arms up and overhead, finding a warrior one. Inhaling here. Exhale, fronts of the hip bones lift. And we attempt to square the hips towards the front of the mat. But if there's a little bit of a peel back with the right hip, that's okay. Arms reach up strong, as if someone's pulling the wrists up towards the ceiling. One more inhale here. And the exhale takes the hands to frame out the front foot. Step the left foot back, lowering down through a chaturanga this time. Inhale, flips to the tops of the feet. Pulls the chest through, finding your upward facing dog. If you're not ready for up dog, you can always come to the cobra again. And exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Lengthening your inhale here. Maybe the exhale sighs out of the mouth. And just really focusing on the integrity of the breath here. And really trying to coordinate it with the movements. As you inhale, gaze comes forward, come up onto the toes, bend into the knees. And we're going to make our way to the top of the mat in our chair pose. You can take steps or you can take a little hop. Finding your chair pose here. One more inhale with the chair pose. And the exhale is going to release the legs. Fingertips come to the mat, head folds down forward. Inhale, rolling up all the way to stand. Arms reach up and out overhead. And the exhale takes the hands to the heart, down by the sides, Tadasana. Inhale, the arms reach up. Exhale is to fold over the legs. Inhale, you find a little bit of extra length in the spine. And the exhale, stepping the left foot back, coming to your warrior one. Finding that angle with the back foot. Arms reach up overhead. Really press into the outer edge of your back foot. Pressing down firmly into the mounds of the toe joints of your front foot. One more inhale here. Exhale is taking the hands to frame the front foot. Step back, lower down through your chaturanga, all on the exhale. Inhale pulls you through to your back bend of choice. And then the exhale takes the hips up and back, downward facing dog. And we'll take one more of that sequence before we take it into our main flow of the day. Next, inhale looks forward between the hands, come up onto the toes and bend into the knees. Hop or step forward to your chair. Arms reach up. Sit the weight back into the heels. One more big inhalation here. And on the exhale, we fold over the legs. Hips come up towards the ceiling, forward fold. Inhale rolls you all the way up to stand, arms reach up overhead. And the exhale takes the hands through the center of the body to the sides for Tadasana. Inhale, the arms reach up. And exhale, we fold, the chest falls towards the floor. Inhale, maybe the hands come to shins as you find length in the spine. And exhale, the right foot steps to the back of the mat on that angle to find your warrior one. Arms lift up, torso lifts up. Really pressing firmly into the outer edge of your right foot. Inhaling intentionally here. And as we ride the exhale, the arms come down all the way to frame the front foot. Still exhaling, we come to lower to our chaturanga. Inhale pulls you through for the back bend. And exhale lifts the hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog. Just take the knees to drop to the floor for a moment here. Sit the hips back to the heels. And the arms can come by the side. Just for a little brief embryo pose. And just letting all of that effort dissipate for a moment. And just giving yourself this little moment of care before we start to move back into the sequence. We're really going to be getting into the hips a lot in the next little bit. And that can unlock some really unique emotional responses. Tightness in the hips can often bring up frustration, so just be patient with yourself as we move through this next little bit of class. For your next breath in, we'll just take the hands forward to plant, pulling yourself forward into a tabletop, tucking the toes, taking the hips up and back. We'll find our downward facing dog. Inhale, the left foot's going to reach up and back, finding a three-legged dog here. Exhale, we're going to bend into the right knee, pull the right knee into the right shoulder, step the right foot outside of the right hand, coming into our lizard lunge. So here, hips drop as much as possible and chest pulls forward. On your inhale, you're going to twist, taking that elbow up towards the ceiling, fingertips come to right ear. And on your exhale, your left arm's going to swim up and back. Your left foot is going to pivot parallel to the back edge of the mat, finding your warrior two. Deep and intentional inhale here. And exhale, maybe find a little bit more bend into the front knee. Arms reach out in both directions. And on your next exhale, you're going to take the right hand forward. Fingertips maybe come to the floor or a block. Left fingertips reach up, and we're finding our side angle pose. Inhaling deeply here. And exhale, we settle. Really feeling the compression in that right hip. Feeling the strength here and the length all together. And on your exhale, you're going to circle your left hand towards the floor. We're going to come through a wide-legged forward fold facing the edge of your mat. And then we're going to bend into the left knee, coming into that Skandasana. And here, maybe you just find a little pulse, coming up and down a little bit, really just testing the strength in your hips at its deepest range of motion. And then we're going to pivot to face the back of the mat, finding your low lunge. And step the left foot back, finding your downward facing dog. Inhaling deeply through the nose here. And on your exhale, maybe you relax a little bit deeper into the pose. The next time you breathe in, your left leg is going to reach up and back, finding your three-legged dog. Energy through the left toes. Exhale, we bend into the left knee, bringing the left knee to the left shoulder, planting the left foot outside the left hand, finding your lizard lunge. Hips drop here, chest pulls forward. One time, we're going to bring the left fingertips to the left ear. Inhale and twist open. And on your exhale, your right arm swims up and back. Right foot pivots to face parallel to the back edge of your mat as you come into your warrior two. Breathing in deeply here. And exhale, maybe you find the depth in the bend in that front knee. One more inhale here. And on the exhale, we take the torso forward. Maybe fingertips come to a block or the floor. Right arm reaches up. Fingertips towards the ceiling. Pressing firmly into your right foot. And coming into this side angle pose. Just finding a really strong and long hold here. Both sides of the torso are reaching long. And we'll take one more breath here. On your next exhale, your right arm's going to circle down to the mat. We come through our forward fold and bend deeply into the right knee, coming to your Skandasana. Hands can come to heart here. Again, maybe you're much higher up. Maybe you're working around here right now. But again, we're still going to take those pulses, bending and straightening into your right leg. And playing around with how much strength you have in the depth of your Skandasana. And then you're going to meet me hands to frame, the front foot, your lunge at the back of your mat. We're going to step the right foot back, finding a downward facing dog. I'll just invite you for one more vinyasa here. So on the inhale, you can ripple the spine forward, rolling through, finding your plank pose. And on the exhale, lowering, bending at the elbows, chaturanga. The inhale pulls you through to your upward facing dog. And the exhale takes the hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog here. And on your next exhale, you're going to drop the knees to the mat and cross over the shins, and we're going to come to a seat facing the edge of our mat. And we're just going to come into this fun little play with Skandasana. We've been doing a lot of Skandasana through this class. So I'm just going to do a little demo, and you can feel free to just hop in to this demo whenever you're ready. This additionally may be where you want to grab your blocks. So I'm going to demo it with blocks first, and then I'm going to demo it without blocks. So you'll come with one leg extended, right leg extended, left leg bends to plant. So it may be planted out a little bit further. Maybe you're finding it's a little bit tight if it's tight in like this, so you may have the foot a little bit further out. Using your blocks, if you'd like to, one block behind your hip and then one block in front of your hips. And you're going to press into the hands, press into the foot, and lift up. And then you're going to take it to the other side. Maybe blocks come to plant, and you lower the hips down to the floor. So maybe that's what you're working with the blocks. Maybe you're a lot more comfortable in Skandasana. The more you can get your heel into bum, the easier this does get. But if you're having trouble getting even into this position, don't worry. If the foot's a little bit further out, you can still manage it with the blocks. You can additionally, if you'd not like to come from the floor, you can take your blocks just out in front of you and just practice a little bend into one knee and the other. So this is kind of your first variation if you're just starting to work with this. If you'd like to ditch the blocks, maybe you go a little lower. If you're really comfortable with it, you'll drop the hips to the floor completely and then bring yourself back up through the center. Hips drop down to the floor completely. And then if you'd like to add on, you can drop the hips to the floor, take the bent knee in, rotate the torso towards the extended leg, bring it back through the center, and then come to the other side. Drop the knee in, rotate the knee out, and take it to the other side. So I like to have my inhales for the knee tap. If you're taking that variations, exhale to take the hips to the other side. Inhale, knee taps. Exhale, plant into the foot. Take the hips to the other side. Inhale, tap the knee. Exhale, take the hips up and over to the other side. And we'll just take a few more of these, finding the variation that works for you. Again, you can just have the blocks in the hands, nice and high up, just experimenting with bending into one knee and then the other. That might be where your starting point is. And then eventually, you can start to work your way into the deeper variations. So wherever you are, we'll take one more each side. And once you've finished, we're just going to meet in a seat and face anywhere on your mat. Soles of the feet come together. And now we have a couple of variations here that we can take. First one, you would plant the feet to the floor. You can cross your right leg over your left leg and come into this variation on a figure 4. If you're finding this challenging, walking your left foot out further makes it less intense of a stretch. I like to prop the fingertips behind me so I can really pull the chest forward. If you have double pigeon in your practice, you can bring the left shin to the mat and cross the right leg over. So we're really trying to stack the shins here. You may even have more depth in this pose than I do. I do have some limitations in my hips here, so there's only so far into double pigeon that I can get. And you can also take a regular pigeon if you prefer. And whatever variation of your hip opener you're taking, just making sure you breathe deeply. A breath that I really like to take in hip openers that I can talk you through right now is I like to breathe in for a count of 4, hold for a count of 6, and then exhale for a count of 6. So if you'd like to join me, you can inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1, hold 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll take one more this side. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we'll gently unravel that side. And you can come into either your seated figure 4, your pigeon, or your double pigeon on the second side. Just being gentle with yourself, getting into it. And if you'd like to join me, we can take those same counted breaths. So your next inhale will come in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last time, inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And just release the cross of the legs. And we'll cross over the shins and step the feet back, coming to a downward facing dog. Inhale, rippling the spine forward, rolling one vertebrae at a time to plank pose. Exhale, lowering all the way down to the belly. And the forearms can come to a sphinx pose, or you can lay yourself all the way down onto your belly. We're going to take the right knee out to the side for a half frog position. So my right knee is pointing directly out to the right side, and then there's a right angle of my shin. So just a gentle opening into that hip. I much prefer taking half frog to full frog. Full frog is an excellent pose for some people, but not all of us have the range of motion that we can lay flat on the floor in a full frog. And you can really grind into your hips and do a lot of damage to your labrum. So the cartilage that protects your femur from grinding up against your pelvis. Because your femur, the top of your femur bone sits in your pelvis like so, and some people have a different amount of room in their hip. And I actually worked my way into a really bad injury trying to force myself into positions like the frog. So now I don't teach that pose anymore. But half frog is much gentler on the hips because you can have the other side parallel. So it's much easier to get into that way. If you're not already on your forearms, just meet me there. And we're going to thread the left arm underneath of the right. And we're going to roll onto the back. Right arm circles over. Coming into a twist. Left hand can come to rest on top of the outer edge of the right knee if you'd like. Just letting the spine unravel here. And one more breath in the twist. I'm just going to circle that right arm up and over, back the way it came. Planting the right hand, sliding the right knee out so you can unravel. And we're just going to take that half frog to the second side. So extending the right leg, bending into the left knee. So the knee comes straight out to the side. Right angle with the leg there. Chest pulls through. Inhaling deeply. And exhale. Let it release. And just staying in this half frog for a few breaths, letting the outer left leg relax, either on the forearms or you can make a pillow with the hands. And on your next exhale, you're just going to thread the right arm underneath of the left, and we're going to unravel this twist. So left arm circles up and over. Coming into your twist, maybe the fingertips rest to the outer edge of the knee. Inhaling deeply here. And the exhale can fall out of the mouth, just unraveling here and tapping into the breath in this twisted position. Maybe you take exhales sighing out of the mouth if that feels better for you. And on your next inhale, you're gonna take the left arm back the way it came, circling up and over. You're gonna plant the left hand, unravel the right arm, and just extend the left leg long, pressing into the hands. And sitting the hips back, finding your child's pose. Hips fall to the heels. Forehead drops down to the mat. And I'm going to offer today that this is the final rest of class. If this doesn't seem like a pose that you want to stay in for a long time for your ending Shavasana position, you can come into something else. And I'll just leave you for a couple moments here, relaxing everything down. And I'll call you back in a few minutes. On your next breath, you're just going to gently walk the fingertips back towards the knees, coming up slowly to a seated position on the shins. Hands can come to your lap. Inhale, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Hold for a moment here. On your exhale, sigh it out through the mouth and drop the shoulders down and back. And you can gently blink the eyes open. I hope that you feel nice and open in your hips, and I hope that you maybe tapped into some strength that you might not have realized that you had today. And I really thank you for taking this class, and I hope to see you in the next class. Have an excellent rest of your day, and I'll see you next time on the mat.